Welcome to our very first episode of Riehl Twins Real Talk.
So today it's a three-part. We're going to be talking about the twin bond.
We're also going to be discussing the worst and best parts about being a twin from our own experience.
And then lastly, we're going to be talking about the spiritual experiences.
Supernatural, maybe.
Mystical, whimsical.
You know, mystical? I'm the mystical one. He's the whimsical one.
I don't know. But first off, we promised you guys that we are going to have an arm wrestle. So that is exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah. And just so you know, we know who's going to be the winner. And we know who the loser is already.
Okay. But, one other thing. It's got to be left-handed because I've had 3 surgeries with my left hand.
Okay, come on.
You okay with that?
Let's go for it. Okay? Okay, on the count of 3. Oh, you gotta put your hand on my elbow, just to make it legitimate. Hand on my elbow. Hand on my elbow, please. Oh, thank you very much.
Okay.
Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm gonna do it. Oh, no way. I'm gonna do it. No. I'm gonna do it. Are you okay? Are you okay? No. Okay, I just had to let you go, buddy. I don't want you to ruin your rotator cuff. I guess that means I'm the winner, right?
No. We gotta have a redo.
Totally beat him.
Redo. So, the first point that we wanted to talk about in our discussion today was about the twin bond. There are so many things that we could say about the twin bond, but the ones that are really important to us, that have impacted us, has been friendships. Being at soccer or at school, people noticed us as the twins. They didn't see us as James or Mike, right? So that in itself, I think, drove that bond closer. When people on the outside looking in just see you as the twins, sometimes you automatically see yourself as one person. I think that's how we thought of ourselves growing up. It wasn't until later in life that we started having our own opinions and having our own ideas, and the way we looked at the world was a bit different. Mind you, we still have a lot of the same ideas, but
and we still share the same interests.
Yeah, we still have the same interests.
No, even when it comes to identical or fraternal twins, us being, we don't even know what we are actually. Identical or fraternal, but I think we're identical. I mean, you guys can be the judge if we look totally the same. I think we do have some differences, but if you're just looking at some of our notes, like the unique bond of twins, according to some research studies, suggests that twins face unique challenges in forming friendships outside of their relationship. Because of that bond is so strong with us, and that we've always been each other's best friend. We never had to try to find another friend. We were comfortable with the friendship that we had. Now, that bond became really, really strong in our early years, where we would just continually play with each other. We didn't have to develop and cultivate those other friendships. Now, later on in life, we started seeing that, our friendship together was really good, but trying to create those deeper friendships with others was actually quite a challenge, even from elementary to high school to even university. We went to the same university, but we saw these challenges trying to communicate with other people. One thing we thought, right, James, was even in university, we always felt like the outsiders.
Yeah. There was a lot of the times that we would we tried going to different events or
Bible study
events or parties. And it was just really hard to connect on a personal level with many other people. People from the outside that know us, maybe you could comment on some of those things. What was your opinion on that? Our opinion was that it was just really challenging. It
was hard to build deep friendships, and not necessarily it was anybody's fault. It just and maybe it was more our fault because we weren't developed enough in our own individual persona, right?
Yeah.
We did everything together. Made things very interesting. Now, coming from the outside in, looking at us, I wonder what other people felt like, even when it came to university. Like, we always stuck together, and we always felt like we were the odd man's out. It was just really weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, even some of our good bonds with soccer, like a lot of our good friends, we'd be able to associate with those people during soccer hours, but when it came to off the pitch, we weren't able to develop any solid friendships. And
but that only made our bond even stronger.
Yeah, it worked
stronger.
The opposite way. It worked the other way around.
Because when we have these thoughts, then we'd move back to each other, and then we'd play off each other in those types of thoughts, whether they're negative or positive. We just kind of went down a spiral. That bond was
a spiraling effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though like that bond is fantastic, it has its negative effects. Now, when we talk about, this is another thing we wanted to talk about, and we're going to bring it into perspective now, because what we're doing here is we want to see the worst part about being a twin and the best part about being a twin. Now, the bond is a great thing, but then it came with some negative stuff as well.
Yeah.
Right? The best things is
the close friendships. The close friendship that I've had with Mike.
Yeah.
I can tell you, there's nothing like it in this world. Until you actually experience being a twin, there is really nothing else like it.
Yeah. And well, this is our experience.
Yeah.
I mean, we know for a fact that there's some twins out there that don't share that same experience, jealousy or things that get in the way of it. But in our relationship for the 39 years of twinning, we can really honestly say that, you know, through some of the ups and downs and some of the jealousy periods or you know, just maybe some different ideologies in the way we think, you know, we're always a phone call away, and we just always phoned each other. Like, sometimes our wives would get actually a little bit jealous.
Yeah, I think our wives do get jealous sometimes, to be honest. And I love you, honey.
I love you too, sweetie. It just, when James phones, I feel like I have to pick it up right away. Like it's this connection that I have to him, and I want to listen to him, and I want to be with him, and it's kind of weird in a sense.
Yeah,
right.
And our wives can't understand it sometimes, and I don't expect them to understand it, to be quite frank. But yeah, just like Mike was saying, when he phones, oh, I got to pick it up. It's important, you know. He's got something to talk about, and I have to listen.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, dude. And one thing too, this will be on a negative thing. Me and James both were soccer players, and for those of you who know us, we're actually quite good. But we had our roles in soccer, and people always asked us, you know, who was always the better goal scorer, or who's the better, you know, player per se. And we always would look at each other and be like, like that's an interesting question, because you know, some people would always say, hey, the goal scorer is definitely the better player, right? Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. People scoring goals is the better player.
Oh yeah, and that's how people look at sports, is, oh, if you scored lots of goals, you're the best player. Just like Messi or Ronaldo. Hashtag Ronaldo, hashtag Messi. But most people don't look at the overall perspective of the sport, right? They don't look at how the goals were scored. How was it set up?
Yeah. So I think in our early years, and even into our years, there was probably some jealousy there, right? Because I was scoring the goals, you were setting them up, I was getting the credit, he was not getting as much credit,
right?
And it was an awkward experience, because, you know, you have these wedges being driven between you, even though you don't want them there.
And it's not you doing it; it's people from the outside putting these trying. Well, I don't know if they're even trying to put the wedges in, but they're putting wedges in between us, and it felt like
it made us uncomfortable with each other.
Yeah.
And we'd talk about it a lot. We'd share our experiences with it. And for me, I knew who was giving me the goals. It was this guy. And I knew it in the depth of my heart. So whenever I win a trophy or a medal or something, or MVP, I wanted to give it to him. Because I knew that the support behind me to achieve that was him. So amongst the talk and the people talking, I really knew inside that I had James to thank for the goals that he was giving me.
And
right?
in lots of different sports, let's take for example Henrik and Daniel Sedin. Those gentlemen probably shared a lot of the same experiences as that we have. Right?
Even more so because they were famous.
Yeah, they were famous. Everyone knew about them, right? I don't know. I can't tell you on the stats on who scored more goals or who had more assists, but I think it was fairly balanced in that sense. But they knew how it felt. The comparisons, the constant. I think Daniel's better. I think Henrik's better. It's a challenging thing to overcome, and until you start growing as an individual, it wasn't until we were getting older in our years that we had that confidence to say, you know what, Mike is better at this, and I am better at this, and that's just the way we felt.
Yeah, I mean, I know we have a lot of fun, and we wanna juice things up with competition and stuff. And me and James have been our worst competitors and our best competitors. It's actually made us better in a lot of things in life, is because we like to compete. We always did when we were younger, and it was fun. Like, we made games of it and everything else. And I feel it's just when other people started comparing that with us, that's what kind of driven us a wedge and created that jealousy. So if anybody is raising twins now, or is planning on is pregnant with twins, make sure they understand that, they might have their differences, but at the same time, one probably might be better than the other twin at something, and the other twin might be better at the other one. But there's a support system there, and
just make sure you're encouraging your kids in whatever they are good at, and not trying to drive a wedge in between. And if you see that happening, try to mitigate it, even if from the outside, people asking you, "Oh, which one's better? Which one's better?" You know what? Be honest with them. You know what? This twin's better at this thing. This one's better at a different thing. It's important for their development as young kids to know that they do not have to be better than their other twin at everything. Life works in mysterious ways. We all have our different gifts, and we just have to accept those and try to be the best that we can be using those gifts.
Yeah, so as twins, even now, being 39 years old, we both have different careers. We're both kind of living different lives. James had kids much earlier than I have. We have a 2-year-old now, and James's oldest is 12 years old, which is super fast. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
So we've lived different lives, but in the sense we're still, that bond is still remains strong.
And that's part of the reason that we've tried to, we've planned on having this channel, is we want to connect again. Like, Mike lives about an hour away from where I am, and this gives us a good excuse to spend time together and to share some cool insights into what being a twin is like, and so that we could also share some other opinions that we may have in the world that may be controversial, that may be enlightening to those that are watching.
Yeah, and it's funny because when we talk about the bond, and maybe even when we talk about for a fact, you probably want to know who came out first. Was it James or me? right?
Yeah.
James came out first. He's what? How old are you?
I'm 5 minutes older than Mike. 5 minutes older.
And he has held this to me for my whole life.
Yes.
and
you know what?
I'm 5 minutes older than you. I'm like, I know you're older than me, buddy. I know you're older than me. But it's funny how it correlated in our whole life. Because everything that we did, James managed to do first. And that's something very interesting, right, James? Like,
very interesting. I was always the one to push the outer limits of our comfort zone growing up.
Yeah,
that's how
James had a girlfriend sooner than I did. James got married sooner than I did. James had kids sooner than I did.
Yeah, what was the other thing? Vroom vroom. Oh, I got my license before Mike.
James got his license before me. So, was that a translation of him being born first to doing everything first? I'm not sure.
I don't know. It wasn't until we got a bit older that you started stepping out and being a more individual person. I think I was more individual first as well.
Yeah, no, I agree.
By having a girlfriend and experiencing life in a different way. And I think
I completely agree.
I think he actually got jealous.
Oh, I was jealous. My twin was being taken away. You know, when James married his wife Crystal, they started dating. Around high school, and then out of high school, James didn't hang out with me very much anymore. It was very much towards his new girlfriend, and
she was my new piece.
Yeah,
to the puzzle, right?
And I think he developed a little quicker than I did in some of these things because, and I kind of felt a little bit lost because my best friend and companion was no longer there, right? And to those of you who had twins, just so you know, it's very important to nurture each twin and have individual friendships with other people, just so they can grow
their individual selves.
Yeah, I would say individual selves a little bit. You mature a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
right. Because I did notice that in our relationship, and there was a jealousy there, and I didn't know how to handle it at that point. But everything resolved itself later on in life as I started, getting a girlfriend, and then I got married, and we started, things just evolved, right?
Yeah.
But I think it evolved a little bit slower being a twin than not. It could have happened faster.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't. To those that are watching too, Mike and I grew up without a dad in the household, so we just had a mom. That probably also didn't help us with our individualism and the fact of us learning how to be a man until we were older in life as well. We knew how to treat women.
Very much so.
Yeah, because we always treated our mom with the utmost respect and love. But we did have a hard time just getting out of our comfort zones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a hard time with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is us just being real with you. Understanding twins is great. We can actually get sometimes more support. I go to somebody in the grocery store and they start talking to me, and we start talking about siblings and stuff, and I say that I'm a twin, and their eyes open and they're shocked, and they're like, "Oh, you have a twin?" So you feel special in some degree, but there has been those negative impacts.
Yeah, people a lot of times people just see the positive things. They don't see the stuff that we have to
filter through.
Yeah, filter through and go through.
Yeah. So on to the more exciting things. We have a couple experiences that we want to share with you. And when we talk about the spiritual, mystical, whimsical ideas, we have one real story that really sticks out the most, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. And James,
Okay.
you start and then I'll.
So
I'll finish.
we've had, I would say, quite a few spiritual, whimsical, mystical experiences. This one that I'm going to share is, I think we are about 12 or 13 years old,
Yeah.
and I was having some really bad pains in my stomach, and we weren't sure what was happening, and
It was a day of a soccer game.
or it was a day before the soccer game.
Okay.
And the pain just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and Mom decided to bring me to the emergency. We still weren't sure what was going on. They take us in. At this point, someone actually picked up Mike. This was the next day. Someone picked up Mike and took
Went to
him.
the soccer game.
Went to the soccer game.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time what was going on there. Mike will share that part of the story. I'll just share what happened to me. We went into the emergency. They took some blood work, and all of a sudden they came back and said to my mom, "James, your son's appendix is just about to rupture. That's why he is in so much pain. We have to get him right now into surgery." And it was just lickety split. It was in a town called Chilliwack. They took us in. We had the surgery right away. Mike, you're part of the story.
Yeah, so at that point, I didn't know any of this was going on. I knew they went to the hospital, but I got picked up for the soccer game, and we started the game. I didn't hear from my mom or James anything. My goal was obviously just to go in there and play my best and win the game. And all of a sudden, I started feeling sick to my stomach. Like, guys, this is really, really weird. And this is where it comes, we can't even explain it all.
It's too hard to explain.
It's too hard to explain. It was an experience. I'm playing in the middle of this soccer game, and I feel instantly sick to my stomach. And it's about roughly around the same time where James is being admitted into the surgery, as we kind of chatted about it after. And I start puking on the soccer field. Like, I start regurgitating food on the soccer field, and I start feeling really sick.
And nauseous.
And nauseous.
And
I don't even know what happened. Like, we didn't have a flu. I didn't have anything. And the coach is looking at me, so he takes me off to the sidelines, and I start,
vomiting profusely.
Yeah. And I'm really sick. And then at the same time, my coach got a phone call from my mom, and saying, how's Mike? Like, is everything okay with Mike? And he's like, James is just being admitted into surgery. Like, this is... And the coach is like, weird. Like, Mike's on the sideline, like,
puking his guts out.
Like, what the heck is going on here? And so, I guess, because what James was feeling... I started experiencing something interesting too.
It wasn't the same symptoms, but it was very strange that all of a sudden he started getting profusely sick, started throwing up, and was nauseous. And it wasn't until, I think, as soon as I got admitted, or maybe it was when the appendix was taken out, he started feeling better.
Yeah, like, literally, I was on the sideline for maybe 10, 15 minutes feeling like crap, and then all of a sudden I started feeling better, and I went on and I finished the soccer game. But that's questioned us our whole lives.
Yeah.
Because when I found out after that he was going to surgery, I was scared. And I was,
Maybe it was a fear thing, why you got sick? Maybe anxiety? I
don't know, but
we have no idea how
to this day we're
describe
like,
it.
is this just part of being a twin? And anybody watching that, it's kind of freaky, it's kind of weird, but it happened.
And if you are a twin, and you've had some
crazy
like spiritual, whimsical experience, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, exactly. We'd love to hear it. Another awesome experience was just me and James. We were we were center midfielders in soccer. Center midfield is a position on the soccer field where you're playing like right next to each other.
Side by side.
Side by side.
Yeah.
And you're right in the middle of the field. And James and I, we talk about Daniel and Henrik Sedin of the Vancouver Canucks in the NHL. Such amazing players. And whenever they played, we almost felt like God had their hand on both of them. They just can flow together so nicely.
That's how we felt when we played soccer.
Yeah, people told us that we were just fantastic. Like we could move together, and it was awesome being twins. I think there was a benefit on the soccer field because one person was marking us, and then we go in, and then they were like, "Well, where's this guy? How's this guy in the same position? Like, how does that work?" It really worked for our benefit. But sometimes James, I swear, like, he'd have eyes in the back of his head, and he would just pull out this pass to me that nobody would understand how it even got to me. It would just come to me, and I would score, or I would get into a very good position. And there was like this twin telepathy that would just like...
Yeah, and it would just work in the ball. It was weird. It was like the ball would do its magical, mystical thing and land on his foot. And then he'd go and score. Yeah. Right?
It was really fun. It was actually quite real fun. And we went to England. We tried out for first division team, and we did a lot of things together. When it came to soccer, we had a lot of belief in us.
We had coaches that believed, and
it was really fun.
Yeah,
even to university. I don't think there's ever been a university where two twins got full scholarships to a university. We did it. Which is phenomenal. And that's another awesome experience that we shared, and many twins. There's not a lot of many twins in high competitive sports, but I think those ones who are, they definitely could share the same experience we did when it came to being twins.
Right? Yeah. And if we were to talk to Daniel and Henrik Sedin today, they would say probably very similar things to what we've experienced. We'd love for Daniel and Henrik to see this video and be like, wow, we experienced those things too.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of them seeing it, who knows? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, so all in all, like, being a twin, if we're going to summarize this whole video, that bond is unbreakable. The twin bond is something special, something supernatural, something that you can't explain. Even the researchers can't even explain some of these things.
And that's why they keep researching it. They just don't know. There's been twins that have separated, I think I mentioned earlier, same interests. They ended up having the same trucks. They live on the opposite sides of the country. But they have the same truck, the same name. They were born with the same name on separate households. Like they got separated, and the parents named them the same, and they end up marrying the wives that had the same names. It's incredible. We'll have to share the link in our video.
And too, while we're talking, James, I want to share the one thing that I found really, really funny, and we didn't find this out until later on in life. But our mom said when we were tiny little toddlers, that we like spoke to each other with some other language,
like a twin language or a baby language,
and she couldn't tell what we were saying. This was before we started speaking any English. We must have been 8 months old or 9 months old.
Just jibber jabber.
Just gibber, and we would jibber jabber with each other. We would talk to each other, and then one of us would go run and do something, and then come back and grab the thing that we were talking about, and then the other one would jibber jabber to the other guy, and we'd run around together and start jibber jabbering.
You know, when you watch the movie The Minions, that's probably what it sounded like. Yeah.
So, anyway, so that's it. We hope you enjoyed our experience here. We had fun with this video today.
Yeah.
We hope that you learned a little bit about us, a little bit about being twins, and we thank you for watching.
We appreciate your support. Please like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, the next video we're going to talk about the new president that's in the United States, how that happened, positives, negatives about the new president,
Yeah, it's a more serious topic, a little bit more controversial.
And some of you might be surprised. We did a short video talking that maybe Trump will bring some peace to the world. I know some of you are probably thinking these guys are real Trump followers, right? It's not about being a Trump follower. I think it's just it's understanding what one party can do, what the other party can do, and maybe there's some balance in the meantime that people can start coming together. Division is rampant, but part of us talking about politics is to start getting understanding of where both sides are at so that we can maybe meet in the middle.
Yeah, it's a very challenging topic these days, and I'm sure we might get some positive feedback, some negative feedback, but that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
We appreciate the comments, and regardless if they're bad or good, we still want to hear them because it's a free world, and we want to be able to share our opinions.
Yeah.
So, thanks, guys. We appreciate you. We
thank you, and God bless, and we'll see you on the next video.
See you guys.